probably for the last rendition of this. I don't know if it's a little series or live anyhow, but yeah, there's just a few little tweaks we're going to go on with the bike. If I don't finish it all on this live stream, like the fenders or whatnot, I'm just going to do that on my own. So I'm going to take a little bit, but I will show you this little hole I drilled right here. That's going to help with the fender mount later on. So that's not messing with the gearbox. This is a little piece that they welded on. It's like the horn or the mount for the pinion, and this is just aluminum. And yeah, I just drilled like a little hole, and I use a zip tie for like the little fender mount down there. But we're gonna first put on the sync gear shifter. We're gonna mount that right off the beginning, and this one you gotta really pay attention to if you guys ever mess with these three little bolts. And again, if this pinion set right here, I would highly recommend, if you guys are running a Pinion gearbox, just to have those little odds and ends, because yeah, there's those three little bolts that you need in there, and those you absolutely, I didn't even get a good, you can't tell where that is. That looks pretty good right there. These are like 3 Newton meters, really lightweight, and I ended up stripping them off originally, not originally, but it was down the line after messing with it. That's why this in particular gearbox got sent back, and they were kind enough to do a full refurb on it. Yeah, but it was like one of these little guys, and I don't know, it just stripped super easy on me, and it doesn't take much on there, but I am going to use a little bit of Loctite for that. And then of course you want to grease these little spider gears here. Once you're done, let's put the rubbers on, protection. All right. So that being said, we got to find those little bolts. I got the Loctite out. Look in here. Believe it's, oh goodness, where are those little dudes? I'm hoping they are these right here. Yep, 1, 2, and grab that guy right there, 3. Those are the 3 we need, and that is a small little Torx. Let's see what size that is. Yeah, I can't really position you guys any better, kind of limited in space a little bit. Is that a 2? Looks bigger than a 2, but it might be a 2. Yeah, it's a 2. All right, it is a 2. So that being said, let's add just a drop on each of these little guys, and then we'll get ready. Just a little drop is all we need. That'll work. Let that kind of settle in here. Get around the threads. And Got a little extra on there. Wipe that off. Oh yeah, so we definitely need to grease that up. I want to wipe that down and grease it up really good. Because this one you can't grease after you stick the cap back on, so. Oh goodness, what did I do with the grease? Where's friggin' grease I like to use? Oh, here it is. Here it is. I like to use Pedro's white grease. It's a lithium PTFE grease for bearings. I think it's a good grease right here. But, yep. Kind of give that a good little smearage here. I'm gonna work it in. Goopy, goopy, goopy. Also try to get it on the inside of these other teeth where that little brass ring is, where the spider gears goes in. There's some other little gears right there. Yep. That looks pretty good. Yeah, give this a good little cleaning on the inside here. And you can see where this guy connects to. This is a very interesting type of shifter unit because like with the just a regular cable mount, you have to put it down to 1 and get everything zeroed in. But this one you really don't have to. But I will say, if any of these ever fail and you're out on the trail and you got your and you have your Allen wrench set, I think it's a number 3. You can take a number 3, and if that guy ever fails on whichever one, you can still change gears. Like you can go in there and you can feel it. It changes gears just like that. So yeah, that's all the way in something 1 or 12. Can't remember which way it goes. But yeah, that's how that is. So like you could potentially, if you're really stuck in a situation, you got to climb, you can shift it down, and you know, it's still going to be kind of a single speed. You're not going to be able to change gears on the fly unless you're really savvy. But that is a way to change your gears. You know, you can, for a climb and then a descent or whatnot, you can get in there and do it. Kind of a cool little hack, I would imagine. I wouldn't really consider it a hack, but yep. So again, I'd like to position this where it's running up there. There's 3 adjustment holes, and we're going to go with this one right here to kind of aim it straight up the down tube on it. All right, there's that guy. Let's see if we can get one started in here without dropping it into the dirt. My wonderful dirt workshop here. Dirt floor workshop. Where are we at? Oh, there we are. Trying to get that guy started. Get the other ones in. All right, let's get this guy started. There we go. And again, you do not want to over tighten these little dudes. Do not over tighten them. One, see all the way forward, so it's got to be this one on the bottom there. Yep, that's it. So we had a little overcast weather today, and it's a little bit cooler, kind of in a heat wave here, but it was a nice ride home from work. It's kind of cool. It actually sprinkled just a bit. Get these kind of, you can't really get much torque on these little nubbies, man, but I love these nubbies. This set with the regular like Park tool, just combination kit I like to carry. Give that just a little bit. Give this one just a little bit, just to get it to just snug where you can kind of feel the threads tighten up. And then I'll just give it maybe a 16th turn after that, come back around. I don't know if this is actually the right size. Some situations this works really good. I think a longer one, a longer Allen right now would probably be the best. I don't know, I'm having it difficult with this one. It's getting that one in. Dude, that one doesn't feel quite right. I don't like the way that feels. Let me grab another one, just in case. When in doubt, right? When in doubt. Let's grab another. Well, I got this one also. So that was a 2, I believe. Or was it a 3? It was a 2. Or maybe it was a 2.5. Which one was it? 2.5. What a odd size. But it's popular. Yeah, it was definitely a 2.5. Let's get that guy in there. There we go. All right, so that's snug. I'm just give it like a, just about that much more. Again, this one's very low torque. And you don't want to strip that out because there's nothing you can do, because that's tapped into the casing, and that is a trip back to Germany. Yeah, that feels pretty good right there. All right. And that is that. So after that, guess we could go ahead and put the cranks on and just finish up that part of the build. And then after that, we're going to get on with the brakes. Now, fortunately, the front brake I left in one unit because it didn't go through the internal routing, which you can see here. Like I added these little external routings because you got 2 holes right here. But like that, another thing is like it really bends this cable in order to get into the frame. And the least bends you have in your any type of shifting cable, man, the better. Cables like to run straight and smooth. So the more you can do that, the better, for sure. So, yep, I got the cranks right here. Oh, well, there goes the axle. Right into the dirt. Lovely. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go back with the solid axle and back. Forget this one, what this one was. I think the pitch is 1.5. This is 170 millimeters. Pitch 1/2, yeah, P15. With about a 17 millimeter thread length here. But yeah, this screw-on one right over here, not a fan, especially because I have those bolts. But you know, you kind of want everything similar. Like the Allen wrench for this one is the same as the front tire. So I mean, to keep it simple. for sure. This guy is not wanting to stand up. There we go. All right. Yeah, you can see that's my rider right there, the daily rider. All right. Axle. So the crank, this is the right. Of course I grabbed the wrong one. Yeah. It's the left side. We'll give that a nice little cleaning before we stick it on there. As a matter of fact, let's go back and get a little bit of our fun brake cleaner. Let me go grab that real quick. Yeah, the automotive brake cleaner in the green can, a little bit more environmentally friendly. So if you guys do use that, I would recommend getting the green can for the environment. I mean, we basically live in an aquarium here. Nothing really, goes in and out. Where all the water and everything is still the same as it has been. But there's to an extent. I remember looking that up one time, and it was like, I forget how many gallons. I don't know, some scientific site was saying that we lose in the atmosphere every year, like 20,000, maybe 20 million gallons of water actually seeps through our atmosphere. I don't know, I can't vet that, but it's kind of an interesting thing. I got really curious about that. It's like, yeah, we got the same water we've had since the very beginning, but I mean, do we really? I don't know. Kind of an interesting thing. So, yeah, let's put a little bit of goopy on there. Again, I like to use a brush and just some assembly grease after you clean it. It always helps a little bit. I feel though like it does. Just a little bit, and we'll put just a little bit inside there too, because we're gonna have to run that cap in there. And that guy ends up being kind of a mess. Put it over here. We'll slide that in. Hopefully it's going to be in a different position. Well, it's going to be in a new position because it hasn't been messed with at all. So the way I like to do this is I like to stick that in there first, then grab the cap, which has a big old honking Allen, and then run the cap in first. Oh, I gotta find that Allen. Yeah, let me find the Allen for that one. It's a big one too. That one you're probably not going to be carrying with you. I wouldn't imagine. Yeah. What size is this? It's this guy right here. It's pretty big. It's a, well, you may be carrying it. It's like a 10 mil. Yeah, some of those little bike tools do have a 10 mil on there, and I think some cranks use a 10 millimeter. All right. And this was supposed to be righty. Why isn't that going on? It's definitely the right thread. Come on, dude. Play nice. Huh. That's odd. Why aren't you grabbing? Why aren't you grabbing, my dude? Oh, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of throws you off. You kind of want to like line it up with that plane, but no, you have to push the bottom down a little bit. Yeah. So I like to run that guy in first. Let's get the one. I'll give that just, give it just a little tap. The lumper. I should have had that out already. Not much, but a little love tap. Yep. And then for the, to set the screws in. Yeah. Nope. It's a 4, it seems like. A number 4. Yeah, these you need to work back and forth, almost like your stem clamp, you know, anything up there by your handlebars. Any type of double bolt compression on a bike is going to take back and forth work. I'll give that one, because as it kind of tightens up on one side, I mean, it kind of loosens up on the other side. So I like to do 2 turns on each side, beginning until they get pretty taut. Just getting there, and you can feel it. What's crazy is you can feel it on the other one getting a little bit softer at the very beginning. All right, there's that one, and there's that one. You want to torque these properly. The proper torque, as always. You know, a lot of times when I was first messing with these, I'd like undo these and like, well, it's not coming off, and totally space that guy out. The little keeper. But yeah. All right. So we'll clean the other one. Go over there and do that one. So I'm not sure how much of the cycling community is really diving into gearboxes, but depends on the type of riding you're doing. You know, like if you're competitive, in the competitive scene, probably not the type of gearing you want to go with. They're heavy, and I think the efficiency, you're going to lose some percentage, a few percentage of efficiency. Then when you go with belt, I think that loses a little bit more. But if you're a commuter or a bike packer, or maybe probably even touring, where, you know, optimum speed and efficiency isn't the thing, when like mechanicals and durability and maintenance is more of a priority. Yeah, I think it shines there. Plus, after you start riding these a while, man, it just becomes second nature. And I know they have like the electronic shifting, which I'm still not a big fan of, because anything battery powered, you know, on a bike, man, you just got to recharge, so it locks you into the system somehow. You know, the dyno hub is almost the antithesis of battery powered, because like it literally produces battery, gives you lights, and you can charge while you're riding instead of like having to charge to ride. So yeah, and then so the Pinion with the belt and the dyno hub in front, which this one doesn't, but that one does over there. Yeah, you're probably, I don't know what the percentage would be down, maybe 5-ish% or something. We'll go ahead and get this guy greased up, and then we'll move over there. But I mean, overall, yeah, it's going to slow you down, give you a little bit more resistance, but to me, it's worth it, man. You know, be interesting. I was like looking on Ride with GPS over, I guess I started using it 4 years ago. And before that, I was using like Wahoo, and I wasn't really connected to it. But since I've been tracking, I guess, Ride with GPS, I don't have a heck of a lot of miles, about 15,000 miles or something, the Ride with GPS. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you like your total. It would be really cool if you get the metric of your average speed of all the miles that you traveled. That would be really cool. But I would imagine like my average speed is between, in the wintertime, 9, 10, and then this time of year where I'm traveling a little bit lighter because I always have a bunch of cargo with me. You know, I stop and get food and have different clothing items to wear. Sometimes do go to the grocery store, shop. Sometimes I bring laundry, all kind of stuff. But anyhow, yeah, in the summertime, maybe 10 to 12 average. Not super fast, but you know, it's pretty wild that you can, you're able to do most of your daily stuff via bike, and especially like over in places over in Europe and stuff. Man, the whole infrastructure of cycling around Amsterdam and all those other, you know, bigger towns, man, they totally repurposed the town, not for being car centric like it is over here in the United States, but more for pedestrian. And they cleaned it up. Some of those major cities, you know, they cleaned up the rivers that run through them. Yeah, that looks right. And yeah, it's about pedestrians. You know, cars still can still get by, but man, it's super safe. A lot of people cycle all the time just with just regular bikes. They probably don't even consider themselves cyclists for the most part. It's just the way of life. They have their city bike with their basket. They go to work, they go shopping, they get home. A lot of those places with public transportation, man, you can live a pretty good life without a vehicle. All right. So again, I like to put the cap on first. Get it snug. And I'll give it a little love tap over here with the bunker. And I believe this is the last time we're going to be needing Mr. Rubber Hammer here, which I don't even probably need to use this. But just get that extra little oomph on there. And then this side's a little tricky, no doubt, because you have to kind of get in there around your front cog. But yesterday, yeah, I tried to use some aluminum cogs that I had. It was a 3232. This 115 belt wouldn't fit, so luckily I found these stainless steel ones. And I believe these were the original ones that came with it. I didn't ride with them very long. So what's on here now is a 132 up front and a 130 in back. What I like to ride is a 39, 34. So it's a little bit taller gear for sure. But man, if you ever put this guy in first gear, I mean, that is granny. That is a granny gear. And if you hit first gear, you could almost probably hike the bike just as fast as you could pedal it, depending on the situation. I mean, that dude is slow, especially with this gear ratio. But the 12 speed versus the 9 speed, you're going to have that one extra gear on top. I think they're pretty equal from the bottom all the way up top, except the 12 speed has that one extra, and I'm not really that savvy about the 18 speed. For me, that's just, I'm not sure what the steps are on the gearing, but that's a lot, you know. And I don't even think the C-Line makes an 18 speed. Maybe they do. P-Line most definitely does. I guess if you were like total tour and you're really about, you know, precise cadence, I could see it coming into play. But on some forums and some groups and stuff I looked at, some people were like, I want to get away with 18. I'm going to go to the 12. 12 seems to be the most popular with the 600% gear ratio, or gear range rather, not ratio. All right. And the cranks are on. Now for the pedals, I'm not sure what pedals I'm going to put on. I have some old kind of blue ones that I got some spray paint paint on. I may clean them up. But that's that. So next thing let's get to is the brakes. So those guys are on. It feels good. Oh well, since we're here, let's go ahead and change the axle. And I guess we can test the shifter. Let's do that before we carry on to a totally different thing. So shifter is up here. It's loose. Let's just tighten that down a little bit. Just for testing purposes here. So we can shift it. All right, that's good. And we'll take off this axle and put the good axle in. Stick this guy in. Hopefully the tension isn't going to throw it out of kilter too much. Yeah, this notch in this like quick release thing, man, it's kind of funky. I couldn't even screw it all the way in because of like these bolt heads I put on. But I'm not going to change those bolt heads. I think they're pretty awesome. Oh, we may have a little bit of tension to deal with getting that back together. Then we'll deal with the brakes. And we're going to be getting closer. And then Marketplace, maybe Pink Bike, but Marketplace has been pretty good. Hopefully I'm not going to jump the gun too quickly on the whole ordeal. Yeah, I may have had too much tension on there, dude. Oh. Yeah, the whole slide out. There we go. Come on, dude. Get in there. Slide out was sliding back. Another thing for running looser tension is easier to deal with your rear wheel. And getting your axle lined up. There we go. There we go. So I do want to get that taut anyhow, get it pretty set since we're going to be dealing with the brakes here in a little bit. Whoops. And we'll tighten up the, not just a little accessory bolt here. We'll tighten up the front one also, just to make sure. Oh, I didn't bring my alcohol outside. I do want to clean those. Alcohol and like a 400 grit or some type of really super light abrasive to go over your rotors every now and then. It's pretty good for cleaning them. It's not going to mess with your pads too much. But yeah, let's check how the okay, that's one way. Let's click it all the way down. All right, so that's 12. Oh, it skipped 2. Yeah, forget on the one of these levers, if you hear that, it actually can skip 2 gears. Feels pretty smooth, actually. It's getting lighter. Yep. That's on the bottom lever, but the top lever, you only get going, which way is that going? Going taller. So going taller on this system, you just get one gear at a time. But then if you want to get into some lower gears, you can click 2. I don't hear any weird noises in the crank. Yep. There you go. All right. I'm happy with that. Sounds good. And again, if you guys want to see this, so this is the lower one. I don't think you could see it. So this is, you only get 1 click here. And then here you'll get 2. And we're tapped out. And it's so friggin' nice to have these cables external for messing with all this, I think. Internal's nice, but yeah. So this one I've already pre-hung. I guess I could clean it later. We can just go ahead and slide it on and test it. And then we're gonna have to mess with the back brake because the cable got cut, and I hope I have enough length for that one. I will say though that when you go to like a Jaguar Pro, most brake cables are 5mm. But if you get into these old Tektro, this is not super old, it's still in pretty good shape, but if you get into these older Tektro units, their propriety hose length was 5.5 mil, which of course they had, you know, let's not be standard, industry standard, let's go something else. But what that happens is, like in the insert here, you just can't run a standard insert. Let me see if I can break this down for you guys. Let's see if I can drop that down, see if you can get a better angle of what I'm talking about on my messy little table. All right, move this out the way. So, yeah, there's the grease brush, and we'll put that over here. I think we're done with that guy anyhow. Yeah, clean your fingers off. So this is kind of like your regular insert. And yeah, this is Jaguar, and we're running. So man, it really was frustrating trying to stick this guy, and I went through a lot of cables. It doesn't fit in that cone very well. So after contacting those guys over and over again, you have to use their proprietary insert. I don't know if you guys can, where the camera is, if you can see this very good, but this has it's a little bit thinner, and it has like the red gasket on there. That's the only one that fits in here. So snap, you're gonna have to use that to insert the hose. And this end is a little bit frayed. Man, I hate to leave you guys in an extended period of time, but I think I'm gonna go in there and try to find a lighter or something and try to maybe burn that off. So yeah, it's not so, you got those frayed fibers messing with everything. Another thing when dealing with brakes is you can get those inserts and put the olive in regularly with your hand if you're really good, but I found using like the tool, I got it somewhere here, but using that insert tool really helps out. I originally had like this little cheapy one here, and it works okay, you know, but it's just plastic. And then after a while, I bit the bullet and got the Park Tool one, which, yeah, which is this guy right here. It's made out of metal, you know. I doubt I'll ever need another one again. Another thing's, you want to make sure that your olive fits the diameter of the cable you're running, you know. Majority nowadays is probably all going to be 5 millimeters. I mean, I kind of like the bigger hose Tektro used, just from an engineering standpoint. It's just pushing more fluid, so it's going to be a little bit stronger, maybe a little bit more responsive. Theoretically, that's actually a really terrible cut. I don't like the way that was cut. Just cut at an angle. So that being said, maybe we can get a better cut. Maybe just, or maybe not. I don't know. We'll try it. We're not going to do much, just a little bit. Yeah, still that friggin' fray. The fraying, dude, whatever they make that out of is a little aggravating. It's hard to see, where's my little nipper tool? Here it is. Hard to get a clean cut on them fibers, but that's at least a little bit more flat. And then I like to take some pliers or something and round that off a little bit, best you can. Get it a little bit smoother. And then kind of it's just me, maybe I'm OCD or whatever, but I like to take this guy. So I took this punch and made it to a really fine point. And on the cable ends, I kind of like to just stick it in there and just kind of round it off. This one is not too bad with the fibers. You may just roll with it. I'm not too worried about it. So yeah, so there's different size olives too. This one is a Tektro. You can tell it's a little bit loose. I can sit here and bounce it up and down a little bit. I feel some play in there. I'm not going to use that one. This olive, I believe, is going to fit a lot better. And then these, I don't know if you can see it that well. I don't know. But I don't think there's one side that you can put it on. Oh, okay. So another thing, make sure you have your little plastic dude on here. Make sure you have your nut. I mean, because you only get one shot at this. And if you mess it up, you got to clip it, and hopefully you have some more parts. And I do have one extra insert with the red. Only one extra, and there, I don't even know how to get them anymore. So yeah, you stick that in there. So with all that being said, we're going to slide that down. So you want like your cover, your nut, you want your olive on there. And then with the handy dandy little Park Tool insertion tool, lack of a better terms. Not even sure what this thing's called. Yes, the HBT1. And yeah, you just kind of slide it in there. You want to crank your dude down, get it kind of snug. definitely kind of lined up the best you can. Maybe a little bend in there or whatnot. All right, yeah, you don't want to over tighten that either. Then you take your little nipple. Oop, you know what? We're gonna have to move that down a little bit. Let's see if I can get a little closer view for you guys and hold that up so you can see what's going on. Sorry about the tripod. It is janky. So yeah, we're like that right there. You just slide it back just a little bit more. You want to stick that in there. Maybe stick it. See, there's a nipple on the insertion part. You can go ahead and slide that. I don't know if I can do this with one hand. And slide the hose. And you want to make sure you get it right in the center of the little plastic core. That is what you're aiming for, because like if you didn't hit that and you went to go compress it, you're going to ruin it. Yeah, I don't have my strong glasses on either. It doesn't seem like it's in there. That's a major point right there. I heard it click. All right. So it clicked. I'm gonna kind of get that guy straight. Make it snug so it doesn't slip. And then, yeah. So that's what it kind of looks like. I don't know if it's coming into focus or not. And then you just squeeze it. Oh, I don't know, this tight enough. Looks like it's moving yeah. Squeeze it down like that. Boom. I've done it without any tool before, and it's doable. I mean, you can do it in the field somehow, just pressing it down on a rock or whatever, but yeah, I think you get a way cleaner look. And then all the frays, yeah, I got a little bit of fray right there, but not much. Not much. So that being said, at this point, we can go ahead and stick it on. All right, so that red one's the only one that really fits in that insert really nice. So you want to stick that in there, kind of give it a good press. And then while you're giving it pressure the whole time, you want to make sure it's got good pressure. Just start screwing it in. And I believe that is a 10 mil. Oh, that's not a good one. Go back to this guy. Is that a 10? May not be. Nope, it is not. It's an 8. Should have known that. Yeah, that's a 10. Of course, now I'm grabbing all 10s. Here's an 8. So the two wrenches that I carry daily are a 10 and an 8. They're not these big honkers. They're a little bit thinner, but they're stainless. Pretty good little wrenches. All right. Get that nice and snug. Now, unlike Shimano, these don't have the access port for filling them up, unfortunately. You just have to take off the whole cap. I suppose, I mean, well, I stand corrected. There is one right here. So, theoretically, we may try that just to hold it this way to fill it up, but that may work. But I like to mount this on the handlebar and let this hang and let gravity kind of go through the whole thing when we fill it up. But at this point, what we're going to do is take out the pads. Definitely want the pads out of there. So there's a little catch right here. We'll plop that guy off, set it there. This is probably a 3 mil. All these cables, man, they all have memory. You can see that. I believe these are just standard. This one is threaded also. It's a double piston, but I believe this is like a metallic ceramic pads. And they're pretty good. I like the full metallic though, honestly. These work pretty good. Yep. You got the keeper. You want to push them out. And time you're messing with hydraulic brakes, man, I know you want to squeeze the lever, or you're accustomed to it, or you accidentally do it. Don't do it. These pistons can actually come out. So yeah, you don't want to mess with that. They do make a insert for that, because you're going to need to pump the lever. So they make an insert like this right here. You can stick it in, and usually it holds fairly well through everything. And there's also a drain right here, and that one is a hex drain. So what we're going to do, let's see how we're going to do this. We'll try to keep all the parts together. We'll put that screw, and I don't want to touch those pads from the pad part with my fingers. You can also take a little bit of sandpaper and alcohol on your pads, or brake cleaner. Brake cleaner, that works pretty good too. All right. So and this gets pretty messy, but I do like another thing about Textro, I believe, I don't know if they're still doing it, but they're still doing mineral oil. The same with Shimano. I mean, I'm sure SRAM and some of those other companies are quite good brakes, but I just like using mineral oil. You can find it anywhere. Even at a pinch, just get some at a hardware store if you had to. But if I ever went like big time touring over some crazy places around the world, I'm not sure if I would go cable with different type of brakes, or just hang on with the hydraulics. Probably just stay with hydraulics. But I do like the simplicity of cable actuated brakes. Like, you can find them anywhere and fix them. Because yeah, stopping is pretty darn important. All right, so we have that one out. I'm going to lay this guy over here. Hopefully it doesn't get knocked. And I guess we can, I just don't have anything to hold that up properly to get a good gravity bleed. Oh, we can try it. There's nothing in there right now. So this one we'll take out. And yeah. Maybe set something up on the vise over there. I do have one of these These are kind of cool. The little cap, fill caps with the plunger. Ooh, there's stuff coming out. It's not even going to fit on there. Bummer. Yeah. So, yeah, it's recessed too deep for that to actually help with anything. So that being the case, we will put this dude back in, keep it flat on the handlebar, let it sag, and just open up the top. And start putting our fluid back in. There we go. And mineral oil isn't super environmentally gnarly. Like if it spills a little bit, I'm not that concerned. You know, we'll try to catch it with something or another. Okie doke. So there's that. How can we do this? We'll hang it from the handlebar up here. Yeah. Get you guys a little better reference point. Kind of show you what's happening. Yo. Maybe angle this up a little bit. Yeah, we can go about like that. You guys can check it out. Hopefully this will stay. Ground's kind of uneven. Oh, that doesn't look too bad. Maybe a little high for me. We'll see here at the bottom. Okay, yep, that's off the ground, which is a good sign. And we have the tire chalked off there, full A line, and we will, that looks pretty even. Tighten this up a little bit. It may be a little too high, but we're gonna have to drop the bike a little bit. That's a little out of range. Yeah, let's drop it down a bit. Still want to keep that off the ground. That looks a little better. This old bike rack is, I don't know who built it, but it's been working pretty good. Oh, bike hand. This is a bike hand, like an e-bike rack, so it can hold a little extra weight, which is nice. I got 2 brake levers right here. That's funny. Get this guy out the way. All right. You know, if it works, it works. It was definitely cheaper than like a park tool stand. And it's got like double latches on that first tube. It's pretty sturdy. So we're going to take the cap off here. And I'll get a little catch pan for the bottom. Getting the air out is a little tricky. Mainly, you can get gravity to work for you. Keep it away from the rotors. That's like going to be your best bet. For sure. All right. Cool. Cool. Always fearing something like this, a drop in the bolts. Especially these little itty bitty ones are black. And if they drop, they're going to hit this little rubber mat and bounce right into the dirt. I'll try to be careful. Oh, this one has a, I don't know if you can see that. There's like a little bladder in there too. So let me get a fresh towel for those. Put that on there. Let all that keep, and we'll find oil pan here. The oil pan, and we will just stick that underneath and let it drain into there. So once we start purging it a little bit, I'm going to run some through, let it kind of seep down. Then we're going to grab that bottom one with, I should get that all prepped. So yeah, this is the bottom screw. It's another Torx. Just get that all ready down there. Get that ready so we can, as it's draining through, try to get a lot of the air out, then we can plug it. Hopefully, yeah, not trap any air. We're fighting air. And just to free pour this is friggin' a little nerving, to say the least. Oh, yeah. But at least it's going into the pan. That was a little bit much. And there's a ton of air coming out from that drain plug down there. So I may set you guys down below so you can see what's happening down there, because that's what I'm looking at. And if I'm looking at it, maybe you guys want to look at it too. Maybe you get a little sip of some high quality H2O mixed in with a little bit of mineral oil. And yeah, so we'll set you guys down like this. I'm not sure if you could actually catch all what's happening here. Maybe not. Can I? Oh, I can't go down any more than that. Well, that's kind of a bummer. I don't know if you can see that at the bottom or not. But here, I'll show you. Well, I'll just hold it. So see all that air kind of bubbling out? Yeah, I thought it would like kind of free pour a little bit more than that, because I could see the potential for that catching air. But what we could try to do, perhaps, on this end is, yeah, I doubt that's going to work, is thread on I don't know if we could thread this on down here. Maybe. No, that ain't gonna happen either. It's hitting that dude. Might get a little bit in there on this side. Just bubbling up through here. I see it bubbling. You guys can see that. Yeah, she's bubbling away. There's a lot of air in there. Bubble, 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 bubble. Ooh. Give it a little shaky. All right. So that may have helped. Dare I try to squeeze it just a little bit? See what happens. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit more air bubbles coming through there. That seems to be helping. Somewhat. I'm getting a lot of air, actually. But at this point, we'll try to get the air out from up top now. Go ahead and cap this guy off down here. And we'll head back up top. Mr. Drain. I do like the Shimano system where they actually make it easy for that little plug. It's a lot less messy for sure. I do like that system. I don't know if I would ever carry one of these, but maybe if I did like a world tour or something, but probably not. I mean, realistically, I don't think, even if you did do hydraulic brakes and you're just riding fairly moderately, and like, you'd probably be okay. And then when it came to a service interval, maybe you could hit up a fairly big city where, yeah, you can find a bike shop. Say, yo, dude, bleed my brakes, man. So, yep. That is tilted a little bit. And we're not getting anything in there right now. Hopefully the front brake is still good. Come on, piston. Get working. There's a little bit of air popping through there. If you guys want to see what's happening up top here, grab the phone, kind of show you. That's what it kind of looks like. I'm not getting any resistance at the moment. Oops. Yeah. A little bit of air is coming out. I'm not sure. Oh, there's some. I know they make, I did see recently, like these cats were making some like vibration tools for this. And it may help, but I mean, gravity's going to work eventually. Eventually, gravity's got to work. Whatever gravity is. I've heard it's still just a theory, but seems to be a pretty good theory. Yeah, we're not getting anything. It's not clamping against the insert. Oh, sorry if I can't hold that straight. Could shuttle it around. do the old thump method. Thump, 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 thump. I'll set you out. It's kind of waylating on my arm. But yeah, the thing with hydraulic brakes, man, if you ever change the lines or something, especially with these older ones, it's doable. You just got to be patient. There, I see a lot of micro bubbles coming up with some big ones. Yeah, gravity's an interesting concept. I think it right along the lines of consciousness. But, and then you get into the discussion of like AI, artificial intelligence, and if it's going to be sentient or conscious, and what is consciousness, right? And the job displacement. But I think it's going to be a long time before it takes over being say, a bike mechanic. So if you guys are like losing your job at Google or whatever, and you're a cyclist, I don't know, hit up REI, see if they need a bike mechanic. Even though I'm not sure how fun being a bike mechanic would be for a cyclist. It may be pretty cool. I mean, you're working with bikes, but I surfed most of my life, and then I remember having this job at the beach, being a lifeguard when the waves were good, and man, that was horrible, absolutely horrible. All I wanted to do was surf, but I couldn't. I had a lifeguard. But if you can find a job that you like doing, man, and it's also a hobby, I guess it could work, depending on what it was and what kind of person you are. I think not a whole lot of people actually end up, finding their job. They just work so that they can live. My job, I don't mind. I kind of like it, It's definitely not the profession I was wanting to get into. But on the flip side, yeah, we're not getting anything here. I'm wondering if we should try to reverse this. Maybe put the grip, fill this up. Let's try that. I wonder if that would work. If we fill this up, put the cap, made this tight, and then well, I wonder. We can probably do it like this. We'll hold that up and see what happens. Looks like some came out. So I'm holding the actual caliper way up high. I don't know if that's catching some air. That does seem to be sucking some more of the fuel out and bubbling. All right, let's add a little bit more. So, yeah, like mechanics. That was a bad pour. Ton of air still coming out, guys. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Doing hydraulic brakes one bubble at a time. And we're still not getting any compression on the calipers yet. Maybe that little hydraulic thing would have been good. The little vibrator, brake vibrator. Beep, bleep, 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 bleep. Could thump it. Thump, 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 thump. Still kind of warm here in the P&W. Man, when I hold it up, man, that fluid goes down a lot. I wish I could show you how much it drops when I do that. That's weird. I don't feel any. There's still got to be a ton of air in there. Well, we'll fill it up. I think I'm going to go down there and crack it one more time. We'll crack the bottom one, see if we can alleviate some air. Give this another little fill, hopefully not spill. Oh, we got some spill. Spill into the fill. And yeah, let's see what's happening down here. It's kind of making a mess. Well, we'll drop you down. I don't know if you guys can see or not. I have very limited. Maybe if I move back enough, you guys can check it out. Yeah, you can see it from that viewpoint, trying to get this stuff, get a shower of it on the head. Well, I cracked it, dude. I didn't see any air coming out. I mean, it looked pretty friggin' good at that perspective. But yeah, with mineral oil all over your brake caliper, you definitely want to clean all that off before you go to reassemble or to put it anywhere near your rotor. We need to get this back one going. Hopefully the cable's going to be long enough too to make it thump, 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 thump. Oh, we start getting at least a little bit of pressure on the calipers themselves. Oh, I feel it starting to tighten up. That is, I mean, we're still getting, here, let me go back up here. Starting to get a little bit of tightening up. But it's still going all the way down. And you can see it kind of bloop, 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 popping out, but it's getting a little tighter. That is a good sign. Yeah, I'm not able to go all the way to the bar at this point, super loose as it was. Still some air in there, but yeah, it's getting tighter. That's awesome. That's what we needed. It just takes a little bit of time and patience, which how patient is the world today? Not very. Something I absolutely need to work on is patience. But man, the friggin' world is running super fast, and the world isn't patient. Kind of runs on its own. But yep. The reservoir's getting a little bit low. Spill a little bit more here. Or spill a lot more. You know, this angle is just a little bit forward. See if we can straighten that out. Yeah, that looks better. All right. So I have some shorts planned. Hopefully do a little short video on my days off. Get a nice ride in. The weather's still going to be fairly nice, hopefully. Yeah, we're getting a little bit. Definitely getting enough. Now the thing with using that block in there, yeah, it's catching up. I'm going to have to ride it a little bit, take the cap back off again, but those pistons are going to have to retract. They're going to have to get a lot closer because that block is so wide. Yeah, once you put everything in there, they're going to have to come in a little bit. So that's going to create a little bit of space, and it's probably going to use up a little bit of oil. So, you know, expect that if you do this and you take the block out, you stick everything in, stick it on the rotors after you clean it, just remember to go back and check your levels again, because you're probably going to have to add a little bit of fluid. But for right now, I'm getting some resistance finally, and that's a good thing. So I'm going to put the cap back on. We're going to clean that up. I'm going to run it to the back and see if we have brakes. So we got to put in our little doohickey right here, our little bladder. It's kind of a interesting concept. This little bladder dude. I guess I could see the utility of it being maybe if air is in there, maybe it'll trap it on one of those little deals so it just doesn't shudder around all the time. And kind of works as like a gasket also to hold the fluid in. And these guys are tiny, tiny, tiny. Yeah. So be patient with brake bleeds. And if you can find some older units, man, don't be scared. They still could work. Get a good deal. Money's tight, man. Everybody's on a budget. Not everybody. Probably a lot of people are. I certainly am. Even though I try to live within my means, I try to live super humbly and then spend whatever extra I have on bicycle stuff. Probably too much. Probably should invest it. But what is investment? I mean, yeah, you could have, I guess, plenty of money at one point or when you retire to just sit around. Or you can invest in something that you do. I mean, think about it. Dwell on the past. Last night, man, I was thinking a lot about the past and choices and stuff, but that's futile, man. I mean, there's songs about it. That's a bad day. You think about things of the past. And tomorrow, yeah, we got to plan a little bit, man, but you can't just live for that because tomorrow's never granted. All we have is this moment. So, yeah, I enjoy tinkering with bikes. I enjoy riding them. Um, try to find, I don't think there's ever a perfect bike or situation, but you can get close depending on what you're into. And plus, the aspect of competition that is driving the tech and the industry to innovation, which is kind of a good thing. But the majority of people who ride bicycles, man, they're not in competition. It's kind of interesting. They make all these super competitive bikes, but the majority of people just ride. But I guess on the flip side, they get to enjoy that tech and go along with them for the ride, and there's some cool aspects of it. But there's some really cool stuff about the older bikes, man. I think bicycles are one of the most humble inventions of mankind, although I think the cat, I saw like a TikTok of this cat or somebody doing a video of the history of bicycles, and the original bicycle was invented because of like an earthquake. I could be wrong. You can vet this out. But it was because of an earthquake. And then, no, it was a volcano. It was a volcano that devastated the land, right? There was just ash everywhere. And back then everybody was on horses, but then all the crops failed and the horses were diminishing and there just wasn't enough food around. So this dude was like, there's got to be another way for us to get around when we don't have horses. So he developed or he invented the first dual wheel push bike. It didn't even have any cranks or anything. But apparently that's when the bicycle started, and I forget, late 1700s maybe or something. Pretty interesting. So, out of necessity comes innovation. And that is definitely the case. It just wasn't like some monk guy who was just meditating. It's like, bicycle. But you can definitely get that meditative space while you're riding a bike. I kind of do. I think a lot. I'm in my head a lot. Right. So there's that. So at this point, yeah, shut you guys back a little bit. I don't want to spray the phone. That clean. Get all this clean down there. I'm gonna do the rotors. Let's get some clean towels and wipe all that off. All right, we're getting closer. For the old steed to find a new pasture. I think somebody's going to be pretty stoked with it. Locally, I think there's a second-hand cycle here close by that's having kind of a sale. Saturday, I may run by there also because there's two tires. I have I got one tire. I'd like to get another tire to put on here. It's definitely going to be tubeless. It's a Mezcal 2.25 Victoria, about 3/4 half-life left on it. I'd like to stick on here, and then another seat. I'm definitely not selling that seat with this rig. I do have another seat that I could just stick on here, but seats are just so personal. Yeah, can't catch that right now. I'll call back later. Call. Dum. So yeah, oh yeah. I'm gonna wipe down these rotors. I may have gotten a little on there. Clean the rotors up a little bit. At least where they're going to be clamped. We'll wash down. I mean, I may use these tires and sell it, but definitely a complete bike. I do see these going used for 2K or something around Marketplace. I'm going to put this one definitely below 2K. Luckily, I have another 1120 fork that I'm running on that other bike with the rack and the bag. And that is, for my use, man, super utility. As a matter of fact, I went bike packing, was it last weekend? Yeah, I believe it was. And I had my whole, just in that rack, in that one little bag, my complete sleeping system. So nice, super light, even though it's just a hammock. It worked out really well. Okay, so there's that. Now let's stick this on the correct side. Hopefully this guy is clean enough so that we don't have to get any of that oil on the rotor. The only thing that could possibly go wrong is just all the excess oil on my gloves. Oh, that's still pretty tight. I'll move that so I don't step on it. Yeah. So she's getting pretty close for a test ride. So this is, I run Infinity seats. I've tried Brooks and Stelly, all kind of different saddles. Saddles are so definitely unique. And with this company, I tried them. They work pretty good. I don't like riding with pads or cameos or whatever the heck they're called. Those little pads. Not into them. I'd rather just wear everyday clothes, just shorts. And so without pads, that's what these were designed for. And I had one ordered one time, and it took forever for them to even process the payment. Like ridiculous amount of time, like about a month. So I emailed them and was like, yo, what's up? You know, what's going on? And because I emailed them and just inquired about it, they canceled the order. It's like, that's super snobbish to do. I was just asking what's up with it. I mean, they haven't even processed the payment or anything. Put the order in, I was like, well, that kind of sucks. And at that point, I was like, man, I wish somebody, or if I had the ability to 3D print it myself and just make one, because they're terribly overpriced, in my opinion. Okay, what do we have going on here, and where should this guy be? We should probably route it. You only get one time to route this stuff too. So that's sticking out. Let's go over the shifter cables and under this other stuff. Yeah, that looks good. So we'll give it a quick little clip here, just to kind of hold in position. And I'll bring you guys to the back. But yeah, it's a comfortable saddle. I just wish somebody else would make it and make it cheaper, because there's not much to it, right? I mean, yeah, I get the tech and all the angles, man, but it does not have to be so ridiculously expensive just for a saddle. The material is just not there. I mean, it's just like plastic or whatever, you know, and a little bit of fake leather around it. But besides all that, I gotta say, it was like some type of special doctor who cycled. He didn't want to wear all that stuff, and so he didn't. Oh, okay. At this point, you know what? I just may take the gloves off. We need to put the pads back in. I don't want to tamper with anything, or I'm gonna take my gloves off. Contaminate it, not tamper. I don't want to contaminate the pads with anything. Here's those, this guy, and what size was that? There's the clip. Use this little apron as a catch-all. You can touch the pads, you just don't want to. I mean, the outside of the pads is fine. We'll put the spring clip in here. These can be a little tricky, but once you get them on, you want to keep pressure on it. So you want to keep pressure on it, get the spring clip in like that. And get your bolt ready to run in. And I like to run from the top down and see where the threads are. This is going to be like that. Oh. Why are the threads on this side? Interesting. So run from the top down. Seems like the thread should be on that side so you can access it from the front, but it's not. The spring, the catch spring, oh, the threads are on this side. That makes sense. Ah, I didn't see. So the threads are actually at the head and not at the base. That's throwing me off a little bit. Little nuances every little system has. Yeah. Yeah, it would always make sense that where you'd screw it in would be from your access side, whatever side that is on the bike. So yeah, we'll tighten that up. This guy doesn't need much. I'm gonna put in the little clip, Yeah, for like these little clip pieces, I mean, how easy would it be to lose that little guy? But I guess it's like a safety latch. So yeah, we'll put our cap back down on it. And then we need the bolts. Let's get the bolts. Where are the bolts? There's this one. These are the front two. And this guy and this guy. So back two. They already have a little bit of Loctite on them. What size are they? Where's my Allen? Maybe this one. All right. I do have some fenders. I'm definitely going to put some fenders back on this guy. It's a little bit more appealing for the crowd around this particular area. Plus I have them and have extra. I doubt I'll ever use them again, so stick them on the bike. Plus they're kind of nice. You know, I think even if it's not raining, just the dust on your bags. Let's say you got a frame bag or stuff up here, just to keep the dust off of it, man. The dust rubbing between your frame and your bags when it's super dusty, like that, just eats away at the fabric. And to minimize that, man, fenders really minimize that. Or if you go through a mud puddle or something like that and get some mud on it, just keeps it just a lot cleaner, for sure. And it doesn't really add that much weight. I mean, it depends on who you are, but I've ran without them through some, you know, and it just makes a mess out of all your stuff. And yeah, I think fenders will really help in keeping your stuff clean. Okay, I'm getting a little bit of grab. It's actually holding the tire. Cool. So this isn't like, it's a pretty good way to adjust your brakes. Is to, as long as your rotor's straight, yeah, just hold your brakes tight and tighten it up. I kind of go back and forth and grab it. And I also like to look down through there and to see if you see any air between the disc and your pads. If you see just like a little bit of light between them, hold that out. Yep. So we're getting. What was crazy when I was taking this off, man, I did that Tour de Whidbey ride on this bike, and then I went bike packing, and then when I was disassembling this, man, this front bolt was loose, man. I guess I forgot to tighten it, but it held out through two pretty good rides. I'd say about, I don't know, maybe 60 miles altogether, maybe a little more, 70. All right, there's that one. Of course, you want to torque these to specs also. I don't want this guy coming loose again. Yep. But no matter what, man, you should always go around and check all your bolts fairly frequently. On the Pinion, I like to do service intervals on the Equinox and the Solstice, where I'll change the fluid, then check all the bolts. I usually add a little bit of goopy in the tires. Just go around the bike and check everything. But definitely do the oil, yeah, goopy in the tires, and then all the major bolts. You know, some people say, oh, you got to change your cables on this and that, but man, I don't think so, that you should be changing your cables, especially if you're using fairly good quality cables. I don't really see the need for that. So these are clips right here. Let's see if I can find those. Oh, here they are. Cool. They're right here. These clips are kind of funky. Sometimes they hold, sometimes they don't. I'll do this one first. I mean, you can always get by with zip ties. Sometimes these are hard to get on properly. Yep. It's a little tough to get on there. These don't seem like your standard hose fittings. They actually seem a little bigger than other bikes. There they go. There we go. Now with the brake line, to have the bends in there, it's definitely not like a cable. It'll be fine. All right, let's check it again. I'll definitely take it on some rides because, I mean, take it on a bumpy ride, that's going to help the air get out. But it's stopping. I don't see it catching anywhere. I don't hear it. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good, yo. So we can go back to the front. Get the front one on. And let's see. Just going to be a few other things. You could get this guy ready. Oh, that's fine. Another thing about the 1120 fork, which is kind of cool, is you have these little zip tie mounts that you can zip tie the brake lines. You also have a fender mount here. You get some more little zip line ties right here for another cable, maybe a dyno or something. The 3 utility racks, plus a fender mount here. And then, I don't know if you can see this, but up underneath, there is another little bolt right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Sorry, that was a weird angle. I don't know if it zoomed in or on that or not, but anyhow. Yeah. So the front brake bolts are always kind of weird. These actually have a cap, kind of a cap and a mushroom head, and then like a scalloped other washer right here. So it could go in at an angle. You can kind of like angle it and it's going to give you like equal pressure. Kind of neat, for sure. You don't want to lose one of those. If I had like a little ditty extra bolt bag, I think if I carried with me, which I would highly recommend going on any type of tour, I'd probably throw one set of those in just in case. I think that would be pretty wise. Now this front one we haven't messed with at all. I just stored it. Haven't messed with the fluid, which, you know, they say to do the fluid about once a year or so. My mom has a mountain bike that she's had for years and years and years, and I don't think it's got hydraulic brakes. I don't think the fluid's ever been changed. And last time I was out there and I rode it, and the brakes worked fine. And that fluid's been in there literally in kind of a tropical climate for years and years and years. I mean, for the industry, yeah, they want you to keep doing all that kind of stuff over and over and over again. You know what? We need to take off that shifter because our lines here are kind of crossed. All right. Yeah, these are working fine. Hold that tight. If you ever do change your lines or cables or whatever, man, I think the quality you get, and with just the little bit extra expense of the Jaguar Pro editions, is totally worth it, because I think you'll get more life out of it. You're going to get better life out of it. That has they put some type of compound in the sleeves that makes the cables slide better. Plus, if you add in any type of like cable lubricant, which I do too, which they make, that even makes it a little better. With the hydraulic lines, I'm not sure exactly if there's any benefit to running these, if they do something else, Kevlar, or who knows what they put in there. But anyhow, yep, front brakes are on. They're working good. We do have rear brakes. I think they're going to definitely get a little bit tighter once you take it out for a couple test rides, get all the air bubbles out. You want to check the fluid on that. Yeah. My roommates are making noise. They're being noisy over there. All right. Sorry about the extra noise. That's what happens, man. So let's straighten out our bong, 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 bong. Not sure what's going on in there. Yeah, so let's take the brake line off. Then we can situate there's somewhat got a contractor in there. Another thing, what I really like to do is make sure your lines are always long enough that you can slide them off your bar without having to take anything off. I think that is, ooh, this is barely long enough. Hold on. I'm gonna have to, oh, just caught up against that. Yeah, so that works out good. I'm glad we have the reach, barely though. Even though cutting the tip off, still have enough reach for these sized handlebars anyhow. I'm not even sure what bars these are. I believe these are what came off the 1120 originally. They're definitely not the priority bars, which that has sweep. So why are these lines so wonky? They need to go like that. let's clip them in and see what we got. Let's go to the bottom one here. Bottom, bottom. And go to the top one, or the A line. If you look in the Pinion manual, I think it's like A and B or something. Yeah. No. It's still, oh, that doesn't look too bad. Oh, the shifter is reversed. That's funny. So the bottom line on this in particular system, it's the one that comes in on the bottom. It actually routes up to the top. Interesting. All right. Now, the brake line, let's see how that's going to look. That looks like it's going to be fine. And is that going to be on the inside of the shifter? Shift the cockpit, man. You gotta like get that squared away. How it's gonna go. I kind of like running my, brake levers and everything pointed down. I'm sure most people do. Maybe a 30 something degree angle like that. And for bar ends, first time I used these in a long time, just regular handlebar ends. Man, I've been running Pinion for so long, I do the crank shifters. And you got to use a little stubby on those. This is right. What are these? I don't even know what kinds these are. Oh, these are ergon. All right. Cool. See what we got for like spacing here. It says right. I really dig the ergon shifters. So, how does that look? I think we should probably put the dropper lever on the inside over here. I believe that's how it goes. That looks like it makes more sense. So that's kind of what it looks like on that end. We'll tighten it all up. And over here, we will get a little bit of, if you guys are curious what that says over there, I form the light and create darkness. Whoa. Oh, you're on a rock. I make peace and create evil. Why the Lord do all these things kind of puts, to me, perspective on this reality. Like it's a dualistic reality, man. We have up and down, light and dark. Even like love and hate. Does one even exist without the other? Or does like its counterpart give the other counterpart meaning? To me, that kind of makes sense, but that's just me. Okay, what's going on here? So that cable is in the way, dude. Yeah, that's not happening. Yep, we got a little conflict here. I don't know if y'all can see that. We got a conflict of interest. So, yeah, that bracket's, well, I guess, but we can't put it up like that because that ain't gonna happen, dude. That ain't right. I forgot how I had this originally. This brake cable's just going kind of wonky, man. It's doing this big question mark routing. Which doesn't look in particularly awesome. So we can zip tie it here. I think we need to go, since it's a little bit longer, we'll go around here, trying to get all that stuff out. We can go back, but looks like we're going to have to run this first, then come back with the dropper. I'm not sure what side of the dropper should. That just, why is this not working out very well? Or maybe I'm just an idiot, and could quite possibly be. We could swap that around. Yeah, I'm just an idiot, yo. I had it mounted backwards. I didn't even think about it. All right. So this guy can go on, and that guy can go on. Maybe an idiot, but I'm no fool. Or is it the other way around? That's funny. All right. Let's put the spacing of the ergon on. Or is it maybe I'm a fool, but I'm not an idiot? I don't know. Not sure. So get our level there. And with that out, let's get a good routing. Uh-oh, I hear drops. I think it's got a little bit of moisture happening. So how does that look? I think that's good. Yeah, I just had that backwards. I was like, what's going on there, dude? That was so weird. This is a P&W lever. I'm probably going to keep. I ordered this other P&W clone from Amazon. Reviews are pretty good, so I'm going to check it out. I may end up putting that one on here. It's literally the exact same design. It's just not from P&W. But I'm curious to check it out. It's like 20 bucks or something. Aluminum. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, the mechanism is fairly straight, and if it's the same design and doing the same thing, you know, I don't see why not. Yep. But cool. Push that on there the way it should go, all the way. Get that down there at about give it a pretty good angle down. Tighten that up a little bit. I'm not even sure the length of these bars. They're not super wide. Can't remember the last time I rode some flat bars like this. I've been in the alt bar game for so long. I really like the Jones bars. And who is it makes? Surly makes them that Hawaiian word or something, the Makata bars or something. But yeah, I was looking at them the other day too, and seeing if anybody made them out of titanium. And there was a few people again over in China making them. Same thing. But I like the rise in the Jones bars. They make, like, they don't do it on the titanium with the carbon, but just the regular butted aluminum. They do that 2.5-inch rise on the loop, on the clamp part of the loop. And that is really cool. I gotta take a drink of water. The voice is going. So just out of curiosity, I emailed them last night. It's like, yo, man, could you put that in? Could you guys build those and put them in there like that? So, waiting to hear back, see what they say about it. So over here with this one, There seems to be, it's raining a little bit. So if I can angle you guys back, I don't know if nobody's really talking, which is fine. I gotta figure it out. So we're coming down. Yeah, you want these accessible. So let's get this pushed in all the way. Press in. Kind of, we'll just, so they don't slide out, we'll tighten that up a little bit. This guy needs to really be pulled up. Seems like, what's it hitting up against? Oh, it's not hitting up against anything, but, or is it? Oh yeah, it was up against the brake nipple, or something. So somewhere about like that, I guess. To have that really accessible for your thumb so you can crank down on it. See what that looks like. And then maybe adjust the brake a little bit better. I can't go any closer to the brake because it's, unfortunately, it seems to be hitting the nipple over here. We can give that a little more angle. Hopefully that's going to give us some pretty good clearance there, something like that. All right. So at this point, we should have a functioning bicycle that's able to ride. All right. Shifts, it stops. Of course, I have to do a little bit of cable tying up here, and been running for what, an hour 20 or something. My phone's getting low. So there we go, guys. Thanks for hopping along and being on this adventure with me of tinkering with the bike, playing with it. Had just a few little mods. It's going to be ready to go. But that's basically it. That's for the stream. Appreciate you guys hanging out, watching. And yeah, if you want, check out some videos that are soon to be coming. On parts, probably some rides, bike-related stuff, old man stuff, Gen X. Anyhow, we'll catch you next time. Aim high. Peace.